Set. Okay, I guess we're live. Hi everyone. Depending what time you are at. Welcome to our second. Is it second or third? Governance board meeting. Yeah. Today we have two ghosts and two people who have their cameras on. So I have Hugo, I have Fran, who seems like to be enjoying his meal over there, and we've got Lucas as well. So hi everyone.
Hi, hello everyone.
Cool. I think I had a few items that I added on the agenda. Let me quickly share my screen, then we can decide where to start and where to stop. Um, okay. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Awesome. All right, cool. So yeah, I just put out a rough agenda. I didn't know which one is priority, but I think I've put like a bunch of items that we had to discuss following Lucas's handover. So yeah, I don't know which one we should start with because I only put everything. Number one. Okay, cool. All right. So the first item that we need to discuss is to decide who will chair the governance board. Any volunteers? You would want me to chair the governance board, trust me, because you ask Lucas when it comes to time, I don't joke with time. So I don't know, is there anybody else who wants to volunteer? Hugo, are you still there?
I'm here, and I can say that uh, Julie and Brian have the most available um, time as a resource. So that's my proposal. And you can certainly help a lot.
Hugo, I don't really understand what you're saying. I think there's a lot of noise in background probably, or I don't know. But it's really difficult for me to understand. Not sure if I'm the only one.
Um, okay. I think I might have gotten what Hugo said is like either me, you, friends, since we are mostly available. I don't know the other part. Let me check the chat. Yeah, based on time availability, either me or you, friend.
I suggest you, Tully. Um, Honestly, my time availability is not as large as it may seem, given the, like I don't have an employer right now, but I'm starting a company. So so yeah, that's not really
Okay.
making me too, let's say, super available. It does somehow, but yeah. in any case, I think it's a matter of visibility, right? So the chair shouldn't actually be taking a lot of the heavy lifting. We can still split tasks, right? And that's fine. But to me, it's a matter of visibility that the chair is the representative, right, of the governance board. And you've been doing a great job for the last year, so why not you, right? So that's that's my reasoning.
Okay. All right. I don't mind.
Also, another
Mm-hmm.
reason not to be myself. Uh, I I used to be the first of all the what's it called? Benevolent dictator for life before we were part of Linux Foundation, right? Then I was the first executive director, and now I'm back here. So ideally, in my mind, in my let's say unspoken plans, is that I become redundant in the governance board over the next years, right? Hopefully over the next year. That will be amazing. So the one of the reasons, and Lucas can even say that I was doubting if I should be applying to be part of the governance board or not. Um, and to me, the decisive factor was I wanted to guarantee, let's say, a smooth transition, right? As well as Lucas, right? But I wanted to be part of the governance board, so not everything relies on Lucas, at least not for the whole year, right? So yeah, I'm happy to be here. I will be here. I'll probably be here for, I don't know, 2 years, whatever, 1 year, 2 years, whatever. But in my mind, it would be ideal if I just let people take over, right? So it's not either me or Lucas who's always here, like controlling the what's happening in the community and in the initiative and so on, right? So yeah, that's just another reason from the back of my mind, right? Ideally, I should be enabling others to take over the years, right? And you've been here for a while, so yeah, more visibility for you. That's my bet.
All right. And you guys say that by time, I mean time zone coverage, not time for working on the initiatives. You're already part of the initiative inventory of assets. Okay. All right. Okay, I don't mind. I mean, if I don't take a lot of tasks in the board, it's fine. This is a bigger task already, so yeah. It'll be a -1 for me. So yeah, okay, fine. I will chair. I'll be the chairwoman of the governance board. Thank you so much. And first things first, if the meeting is at 6 p.m., it means that it starts at 6 p.m., not at 5 past 6, not at 4 past 6. It's 6 p.m. on the dot. So if it's a minute past, which means you're already late. So yeah, rule number one or whatever. So yeah. Thank you so much. So that will be the first item of the agenda.
Can I
All
take my
right.
vote?
No, you can't. You've already voted. So yeah.
Oh, damn it. Too late already.
No, there is no Latam, Spain, or African time. If it's 6
Fully
p.m.
time,
on the
yeah, fully
dot,
time,
it
yeah.
means yeah, it means 6 p.m. on the dot, not anything past yeah, that. All right, thank you so much. All right, moving on. All right, so that now that we have decided on the chair, how do we split the tasks and how do we keep track of it as well? I think that will be the most important thing to do.
So I think you've been using GitHub projects so far, right? For Linux.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fine with that. Also, it makes things like easily discoverable and linkable on GitHub, right? So yeah, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
And about how and it seems that Hugo agrees with that. So if you agree with that, I think it's the easiest to continue doing what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also agree. GitHub issues. Oh, GitHub projects, sorry, not GitHub
Um,
issues.
I mean,
GitHub
both
projects or GitHub issues. Yeah.
can be a mix of both. Some things will not be
Mm-hmm.
issues, but some things will be. So yeah. Um, and how should we split the tasks?
Mm-hmm.
Good question. I think we should probably identify what tasks do we have, right? Or areas, if you want to, like groups of tasks. Like for instance, we were discussing the marketing stuff and so on. So I can probably take care of marketing and so on, but I mean marketing, posting in social media, as we discussed. So that's one thing, but there are other things. There are other, like, I don't know, what kind of, what categories of tasks you think also should we split by category? Should we split just by, should we be splitting like every so often, like hey, I'm assigning myself this one, just in a fluid way, or I don't know, open questions.
Okay. For me, in my mind, I think you should split it by category or by task because I know maybe Lucas will have to come in here. I know there's a aspect of budget. There is an aspect of conference budget. There's an aspect of employees and stuff like that. There's aspect of communities such as working group. There's aspect of Google Workspaces. There's, I don't know, there's a lot. So I don't know. So I would prefer if we split by category and have like somebody who is responsible for that. But yeah, I think Lucas will be the best person to give us more light on the tasks, the categories that are there.
Well, I don't have any categories, I think. I mean, I never tried to categorize. So you just have to look on in the governance document, there's a list of stuff that when it was like when the board was introduced, like basically all the duties of the board were like it's what executive director was doing. So as you mentioned, like budget updating, like overarching different programs, like accepting expenses. So you basically have to like I mean, my personal opinion is don't try to work as a team, like a Scrum team where every single member of the team should know everything. Um, and as you said, like split by categories, whatever these categories are. And then let's say every person takes 4 tasks or 4 topics. And then once next year you get 2 more members in the board, then again you give away some of these to these new members. No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what else I can tell you. But yeah, basically there is a lot. Like even next month you already should start contacting the sponsors. Because in some cases like IBM, you really need to start early to make sure that it's like remind the contact person from IBM that they should submit budget requests internally in IBM. Because like, for example, there were some issues in the past and we got less funding than expected because it was just overlooked by IBM and not submitted at time. So yeah, not sure if I helped actually, but yeah, it's hard to categorize, I would say, I think.
Yeah, I think we don't have to be super strict with, if we're gonna categorize, we don't have to be super strict with the category boundaries, let's say. It can be like brown bag, like you put all, you create like a kind of category where we put all these things plus these other things, um, and also based on the load as well. Like we don't want to have one category with a lot of effort and then having someone else take three categories but that are low effort, right? And then you have someone who's basically super busy, and the other people are just basically not so busy. I think the most, correct me if I'm wrong, Lucas, but probably the most demanding here will be trying to find new sponsors, like knocking the doors of people, reminding them, and so on. This one plus probably having the employees report to you, or I'm not employees, the people who are getting paid, let's say, not necessarily employees, um, to report to you so that you have to mentor them. So whatever requires having meetings, it's a lot of time. It's a lot of it's demanding, let's say. I would say that I will just summarize it like that. If it requires meetings, it's a lot of demand.
With funding, funding, in theory, if there's no push to bring more sponsors, there shouldn't be too much to do, because the majority of the renewals I pushed at the same time when I was working on the board. So a lot of renewals came in like May, June, July. So yeah, next renewal is like, we've got a lot of time. So I would say on the IBM is something to take over. But that's also easy. Like, Ugo, do you know already if you're gonna be in London?
I will not be in London.
Okay, then it's not that easy, because if somebody would be in London, then there will be people from IBM. So yeah, in theory, there's not a lot of work to do. Again, as I said, unless you want to scale sponsorship, which would be, of course, nice. But to do it, we need to first identify. I had to open pipelines with WSO2, but I know from them that it's not gonna happen very soon. And Confluent also is like they're processing already for a few months, so there's no work really to do to push it. I would say the most important is what's next. So the board, the budget planning for next year, and the hiring. There's enough money in the budget to just replicate whatever we did this year, so it's also shouldn't be super hard, but that's something that is waiting, like especially from the perspective of the bounty. I was already Ash, who manages the program, he already asked to when he's gonna get confirmation that the bounty is gonna happen in 2026, because yeah, he needs that information in October already to start planning for Q1 2026. So the most outstanding is budget, really. Budget and people. But in majority of cases, there was like if somebody is paid just for like for for running this program, like Bounty or mentorships, there's no meetings really needed. There's everything can be handled async. I had meetings with Ace, but that was also, I'm still gonna have them. It's different reason. I just enjoy spending time with Ace on call. But I also had calls with Tuli, but then now it's also you have to decide like how that's gonna work, because Tuli is now a chairwoman, so it's up to Tuli. I don't know if Tuli needs would like to have continuous mentoring. So yeah, but basically, it's really hard for me to help you by saying like how much load each topic will give you, because in the end, it's the load comes from the involvement. How much you're gonna be involved, that's how much load you're gonna get, and you can always delegate. That's what I was doing, for example, with Open Collective, like with mentorship. I knew we can trust Ace. He already got paid for running the programs. So he's basically the one that is accepting any expenses related to mentorship, because he has dedicated program page in Open Collective that he can manage. So I was just overseeing if everything is fine. Same with Bounty. It's Ash doesn't want yet to accept, but he's already helping a lot by he's like initially checking if submissions are fine, and he's accepting them, like manually writing message that he accepts that everything is okay, and then I just click accept. So again, in case of Open Collective, there's really not much work. The most, I would say, time taking is conferences. But I don't want to suggest, but I guess the best is if conferences, of course, are continued by Tuli, because Tuli knows the best. So yeah, anyway.
Yeah, if I will have to add something is, let's just continue. My proposal is that let's continue business as usual as much as possible, right? In terms of like Tuli, you're doing the conferences, you keep doing the conferences. But for instance, if we have to review so we have to create a budget for the next year. I mean, I'm not sure about you, but in my mind, I will not make a lot of changes to the current budget, right? So we can fix some things here and there, but I will basically replicate what's been done this year, especially because, yeah, we don't. It's going to be our first time working as a board, so you know, it's easier to run things. Sometimes it's easier to run things if you do it alone. When you do it in a team, then you have a coordination problem, right? And communication and coordination problems and so on. So let's make it easy for us to start working as a team, let's say. And then and then as we make progress, as we improve the way we work together, we can definitely suggest bigger changes if we want to, of course, in the budget, maybe next year. But I will say, like, I will not make huge changes, right? Maybe some things here and there.
Okay. All right, then, yeah, for conference, the budget for conference is usually separate for the initiative budget. So a class that is, should I say -1 or yeah, it's totally separate, but still it needs to be managed, like the way we spend, where we spend, how we spend. So that's that on conference side of things. And yeah, in regards to the community working group, definitely, as Lucas mentioned, that there are different people who are in charge of different programs. So if we still want to continue, I think I'm also gonna reach out to community builders next month because I know November we have to put out the next year's building goals. So if there's any changes or they feel like there's things that they have concerns, then it's something that I'll have to bring it up as well. So yeah, that will be some things that from the community side of things, of course.
Okay. Also, just to so Hugo is saying that for point 3, the frequency of meetings, he suggests we do it every 2 weeks for the first quarter, and then decrease the frequency. And also that he can help reaching out to, I guess, sponsors, asking for money. So yeah, sponsors. So and I think he's actually in a good position for that because he's traveling a lot because of his position in Hong Kong, so he can meet with people in person, right? So which often facilitates things, makes things super easy. So yeah, so that will be to me that's I think that's the best option. Tuli, is there anything in the current budget that you would like to change aside from marketing, which we already discussed? Dropping the expenses on, or I mean, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
not renewing the contract. So this was already discussed. This was already communicated as well. So that's why I'm sharing here publicly now. So aside from that, is there anything that you will change on the budget from your opinion?
I think it would have to go to point number 4. Usually,
Yeah.
I think that's like as Lucas has mentioned, that the Bounty program as well. And definitely November. There's also another discussion as well for 2026 for the community manager. So those are the 2 things that need to be discussed as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's work on the budget, let's say in async, let's say. So we start sharing in the next, in the channel, in the Slack channel in the next days. I will suggest that we start each of us maybe coming up with a proposal or something and discussing there. So, because it's really hard to work on something like that on a call, right? On a single call.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's just keep chatting and maybe we have a call about it in the future. But I will say let's start the conversation in Slack and then continue there.
All right.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Anything else you want to do the full list?
Okay, yeah, working group cleanups can still go under the goals for next year, so it's not something that is too urgent. But the number 6 is something that is quite not urgent, but it's quite needed. I think it's been a year since we haven't solved this. We need
Yes.
to figure out what to do with the Google Workspace. How do we switch? Because the other thing that is making this agent is because of the way the code of conduct is working. We need to set up a committee, like to add more members. we need to have a separate emails. How do we do this? So it's something that relies more on the Google Workspace. So we definitely need this as well. Like it's
Well,
quite priority.
let's do first another change, which is let's move it off of asyncAPI.io domain first, I would say. So we hire another Google Workspace. We create another Google Workspace. Now this time with the asyncAPI.com domain, right? In emails in plural, right? So and then we work on the Google Workspace, right? Because right now it's mine. It's it's not a Linux Foundation asset. So so asyncAPI.io is mine, as you probably know. And yeah, I mean it's fine, but it shouldn't be like that, right? We've been doing it like this. Look, first me, then Lucas, and so on, because to facilitate things, like okay, it's okay. Let's not overcomplicate things. But if we're establishing a governance board, we're gonna keep electing new members in the future, and so on and so on. I think I will say that let's clean that mess first, right? Not sure if I could somewhat or somehow change the email, but preserving the existing Google Workspace. I'm not sure. I don't think it's possible. I think it's tied to an email address, so or to a domain, I would say. But I don't know. I have to check. I can take that one myself because this is something I have to do anyway. So yeah.
Okay. So I guess this one I can assign that to you.
Yes.
Then that's perfect. Thank you. All right, cool. So the Async API Fellowship Fund is tied to the budget. So I guess we still need to figure out what to do. Then what to do with the current roadmap. I think I can pick this one up together with the community building goals so that I can
Yeah.
always have some suggestions on what to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then, yeah, I think also, oh, sorry, Lucas.
No, just in case of fellowship, it's I mean it's not much related to the next year budget because it's already approved for this
Mm-hmm.
year.
Mm-hmm.
So we have budget, it's just that we didn't have time to work on it because I think there's an important prerequisite, which
Yeah.
is like defining so-called core projects or something like this. Because the idea of fellowship was to sponsor someone on actual work, but it cannot be like, it has to be well defined. So the best if it's, of course, this coding funding goes into like the most critical tool, probably parser, but that's just
Spec.
my idea. Yeah, with spec, I don't think we're paying enough for someone to work on spec.
I like that.
But on
Without
simple
paying
coding for
enough.
parser, money is good.
Right. No, fair. I agree. We probably we won't be able to pay enough. Um, yeah, probably we should probably think about the possibility of individuals and companies sponsoring specific projects or specific like you just said. Imagine, for instance, I'm worried about the spec, and I'm only worried about the spec. Like say, for instance, Solas is I will say it's a good case for that. Like Solas doesn't care so much about the tools because they create their own tools, right? But they're worried about the spec. They want the spec to be maintained and so on, right? So maybe Solas wants to sponsor someone who's going to be working on the spec, right? I myself will be happy to sponsor someone to work on the spec, so I don't have to. Right? So, so yeah. So instead of throwing the money to the initiative and then splitting the money across projects and so on, maybe I'm just interested in sponsoring one specific thing, right? Maybe that's another way to attract other people, right? With more specific interests. I don't know, whatever. Just living the idea here in case it helps.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, it's somehow related to the roadmap as well. So like,
Mhm.
of course, depends what you want to do with roadmap. But what I had in my mind if I would have more time, then I would just basically hide the current roadmap and more focus on, because like in the initiative, I mean, you can set whatever roadmap you have, but if you don't have any power of execution, then so what I was thinking about was basically on the initiative level, what we can do at least is because we own the budget, we can define what is core and what
Mhm.
is having a larger priority if it comes to funding than the other projects. And that's how it's also somehow related to fellowship. But it's also like on what Fran said, it's also interesting. Like there are people in the community, maintainers, technical steering committee members like me or Pavel Botjachevsky, for example, who also have individual sponsor accounts. But yeah, I my experience is that I don't think anybody would, like, maybe somebody would sponsor my work on generator, but on the spec I don't think, because I think that majority of the enterprises, they don't want more work on spec. They want to leave it as it is, not evolve, because they're like already have bunch of extensions and the way of handling, and they would be scared if there would be new version, I guess, except of bindings probably.
Yeah, that was my point. So when I say spec, usually it's not so much about the core spec, even though we know that there are some things missing that were reported already and are still pending, like the pattern for the channel channel parameters. I don't know anything. Anyway, something that we know it has to be done at some point. But yeah, like nobody wants to work on that. Um, but mostly is about bindings, maintaining the bindings, probably at some point coming up with some kind of, let's say, more structure, more structured way of, of structuring the bindings. So the bindings are very similar to each other instead of each of them doing the same thing in their own way. I don't know, especially when not about the structure, but more about the documents, how the documents are structured and so on, like what kind of things that a binding can document. There was a uh, there was an issue by young Cooper about it in the past, but yeah, which I would love to pick at some point. But I mean, I would love that someone picks it up, not me, because I think it's interesting. But yeah, there's work to do on the spec, even if the core spec isn't touched, right?
Okay. All right. I know the last time we spoke about this, the fellowship fund, it was more we still need to define how to do it. So I know I just had to go back to see who was supposed to lead it, and I guess it's me and Lucas. So I think we just need to brainstorm and as usual come up with an issue and propose what we need to do. And yeah, with the roadmap as well, as I mentioned, like maybe do something that will tackle it. Maybe it's a 3-in-1 because with the community goals as well for 2026, it goes hand in hand, I guess. All right.
One thing, by the way, before I forget, is since I've been in the last weeks, I've been solving some issues with some secrets, in the in the GitHub Actions and so on. So this time I'm doing it properly, and I'm storing the secrets in a 1Password account separate from mine, right? I called it async KPI. And ideally, I'm gonna start storing everything. And this one is related to the inventory, by the way. Sorry for that. So I'm gonna start putting all the secrets, especially I'm gonna take care of myself because I have access to all the secrets. So so I'm gonna start putting all the secrets in a 1Password account, right? And then share with you, Tuli, and with Hugo, so that you also have access to this. In case we need to do something. I mean, the governance board of things will have access to that, and probably the security team. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. But if we ever have a security team, it would be great. Actually, it would be amazing. I'm asking too much, right?
All right. No, it's okay to dream big, right?
we, we still haven't figured out the next steps, and I'm already asking for a security team. Yeah, sure. Anyway,
Yeah, it will happen. It will happen sooner or later, but
yeah,
yeah, not one step at a time.
it's on us to make it happen.
Yeah. Speaking about inventory, I think this PR has been sitting for a while. Fran, Hugo,
Hugo
is
is
there
not.
anything else? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he dropped.
Then I
But
guess I'll
report.
have to remind him, like, to also review the pull request and see if everything is there.
I mean, most likely it's not. But never mind. As long as we have mostly everything, uh, that will be fine. What I'm saying is I don't know if something is missing. I can't think of anything that's missing. But the very moment you merge the pull request, probably something will come up and say, "Oh yeah, that thing as well." So let's just move on with this, and if something else appears, I'll add it to the document, and that's it.
99% of things are added.
Yeah, exactly. 99.99%.
All right. Okay. I guess we touched on the major items. I don't know. Let me quickly check if we have other leftover items. I don't see anything. I guess I don't know. Is there anything else?
Priorities and repos, but I think that's related to roadmap and fellowship and so on, right? So
Mhm. All right, I guess. All right, so who's gonna do the GitHub board or the project board?
the chair, right? No, fine. I can set it up. It's an easy one actually. We just have to I'll keep it simple, like to do in progress, done, right? Like a Kanban board, something like that,
Okay,
logged for some reason, and yeah, we can then improve that if we want to, if we ever need it. I don't think it's
all
needed.
right. Okay,
And then we assign things, and that's it.
all right. Then I guess this major one is to discuss the budget. And yeah, I think it's something that we have to do is Hugo is available. So I don't know, is there anything that I might have left out? Like I said, was something that was in my head. I just put it out as it is.
It's a really good start. Let's not think about more things. Right? If it didn't come to your mind and to our mind right now, it's probably not as important or as urgent as at least. So let's just solve this, which will be a really good start, and then I mean, many things will start popping up for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I guess we can call it a day. It's
Yeah,
Monday.
it's Monday. Yeah, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Beautiful Monday.
Uh, it's raining outside, so and if you know me, you know Mondays are not my favorite days. I know,
Raining.
Lucas. I know. So please, I'm sitting here in the dark. The way is so dark, right? So I guess we can call it a day. We can call it a day. All
Yeah,
right. Thank you so much, Hugo, Fran, Lucas, for joining today. I guess everything can be done async.
yeah.
All right. See you in the next 2 weeks or next week or wherever you see me. Or whenever you see me, I'll see you then.